Today we're talking about hydropower. Hydropower is electricity that is created from the energy of running water, like streams and rivers, which will eventually run to oceans. It is a clean energy source, and also it is renewable because yearly snow and rainfall replenishes water sources. Hydropower has been used for centuries. Even since ancient Greek times, farmers have used water wheels to grind wheat into flour. The water wheel was placed in a river, and the kinetic energy of the flowing water turned the wheel, which then became mechanical energy, and they harnessed this energy. In the late 19th century, people began to use hydropower to generate electricity. In 1879, the first hydroelectric power plant was built at Niagara Falls. Then in 1882, the first hydroelectric power plant to be in operation was in the U.S. on the Fox River in Appleton, Wisconsin. This energy source is found anywhere running water is. Dams are built to harness the energy of the running water, and the water can be stored in reservoirs. The dam can be opened or closed to control how much water is used for electricity.
Energy storage. This is a picture of where when the water is stored in a reservoir and then it is released, it spins a turbine that activates a generator to create electricity. Advantages and disadvantages. Some advantages are that there is less pollution, the water is free, it reduces greenhouse gas emissions, it's a reliable technology, and water is a renewable source. Some disadvantages is that it has high cost, dependent on precipitation, blocks fish paths, and can sometimes change water quality, and it can destroy and change fish habitats. How it's used. It is used to crush grains in prehistoric times, and most obviously used as a mode of transportation, but now we use hydropower to make up 7% of the world's total power. An economic impact is when building dams, it costs more than it is told, and it takes longer than expected. Building a dam costs about $1 billion. The government used to hide the fact that the cost is so much, but now that it's out in the open, the price to build a dam is 56% higher, meaning it costs about $1.56 billion. The energy is renewable, but the dams operate so poorly and cost so much that it has a bad impact on the economy. Some environmental impacts is that hydropower dams can significantly affect natural river systems as well as fish and wildlife populations. The hydroelectric dams have a risk of flooding, which destroys forest, wildlife, habitat, agricultural land, and scenic lands. Reservoir water is usually more stagnant than normal river water. As a result, higher than normal amounts of sediments and nutrients will be in the water, and it causes excesses of algae and other aquatic weeds to grow. These weeds can then crowd out the other river animals and other plant life. Here are 7 laws that are related to energy sources, and the first one was in 1935 when Congress passed an act, and it basically just talks about should permit private interests for forming hydroelectric power. The second one talks about how the federal agencies have to analyze the environmental impacts, and they have to make a document of it. The third one is created to prevent the extinction of animals, so it protects them. And 4 is no hydropower can be made until they meet the state or state's water qualities. So if the state has a really high water quality, it has to be really pure, then they have to meet that, or they cannot have hydroelectric power there. 5 is that it ensures the construction of the hydropower will meet the state standards. So when building the dam, they have to make sure that everything is met for the state standards. 6 was passed in 1899 and requires the authorization from U.S. Army of Engineers. And basically what this was when they wanted to build anything, they had to talk to these engineers because they were the ones that would allow anything that was water related to be built. The last one was in 1968, and it works to protect the nation's greatest remaining free-flowing rivers. So any ones that they haven't built on that would be a really good source of energy is protecting them and making sure the plant and animal life is still good. A few social impacts is hydroelectric power creates no air pollution or greenhouse gas emissions. Water is a renewable electricity source, and it's able to be made cheaply. So whenever in the future we want to go buy, like we have electric bills, it will make the cost fairly lower. It also complements the wind and solar power energies. And the construction of hydro plants and dams is fossil fuel intensive, which is not good for our environment.
Alright, this is the global impact on the Three Gorges Dam in China. It has been a controversial project. When being built, it flooded archaeology and cultural sites. 1.3 million people were forced to move for the dam. Hydropower in the future. In Norway and other far countries, river runoff will increase. Scientists study that they should put turbines in already existing dams to produce extra flow. In East Africa, runoff is increasing and extra flow would do no good because some countries don't have enough resources, capacity, and political will. Hoover Dam is considering swapping out their turbines for new ones that will work more efficiently at lower water levels in the year 2050. Local Hoover Dam in Ohio.
In Ohio, we have the Hoover Dam, and this is a picture of it. The Hoover Dam is a major water source for Columbus, and the dam holds about 20.8 billion gallons of water. Thank you.